Well, I think everybody knows what happened. And we were the ones that said that the judicial process has to run its course, so that there were inquests into the deaths of the protesters and people who were there, and there has to be accountability.
And that includes you, because you were the person in power when 90 people died in those protests.
Of course, and we set up an independent commission in terms of fact-finding, and at the same time, the police and all the law enforcing organizations would have to get to work. But the charges that are placing against me for so many people seem very far-fetched.
Why are they far-fetched? You were the person in power. You must have authorized the use of force in tearing down the protest camp.
Yes, but if you recall, we had a situation basically of a group of people occupying the middle of a city, and also had armed people infused within the protests. They were actually firing grenades, firing at people. We didn't even go in to disperse the protests. What we did was to cordon off, set up checkpoints. These checkpoints were attacked, and there were, fighting on the streets, and people, unfortunately, some people died.
Well, and almost everyone who died was at the hands of military gunfire.
Well,
every investigation that's looked at,
that's not the case.
Human Rights Watch did the most comprehensive investigation into what happened in 2010. Said almost all the deaths were caused by military gunfire.
The most comprehensive account has been made by the Independent Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And as far as the charges are concerned, already about 20 cases have been the work of the protesters or the armed elements.
That still leaves the majority, because we're talking about 90 deaths.
Yes,
that still
but
leaves
so far,
you would accept.
So far,
you would accept the majority of the deaths were caused by the military.
No, because so far we have had about 20 inquests. Only 2 so far have concluded that these people died by bullets that were used in the military. But you also have to remember that the protesters had already robbed some of the arms that were used by the military.
So you dispute that your forces were responsible for...
You have to know the charges
first. You accept they were
first.
responsible for some of the deaths. You do accept that?
No. The charge that is being put against me at the moment is the death of a person who wasn't even protesting. What happened was a van was trying to crash through the barriers set up by the military. There were shots being fired. This person ran out to see what happened, and unfortunately got caught.
This happens to be the first of the cases that has been investigated.
So
I don't think it's indicative of all the cases that will be brought in the future.
But to say that the government ordered the military to kill people is not exactly what happened.
You did authorize the use of live ammunition.
We did authorize the use of live ammunition.
Do you regret that decision?
Well, how else do you fight people with arms?
So you don't regret the use of live ammunition?
I regret the losses of people, but the instructions were clear as to how they could use that live ammunition.
What were the
under what circumstances. Well, the issue was ordered by the Deputy Prime Minister. First of all, it's self-defense. It's preventing possible losses to other people, and that they must use with extreme care. And if there's a possibility that you're using these arms against people who were somehow mixed with a crowd of people, they should avoid it. And to say that these kind of orders meant we were ordering the killing of people, I think is unfair.
Okay,
and let me say this. I've been around a number of meetings around the world, the G20 here. Somebody died because the police was trying to do their work. There had to be inquests. The death could be, justified or not according to the law. But I don't see anywhere that the Prime Minister then has to take responsibility for any operations.
We are talking about the worst political violence that your country saw for decades. So I think that the scale of what we're talking about is considerable. And it is going to be the defining issue of your time in power.
That's because it's the first time that we had protests with armed people being involved. If these were peaceful protests, constitutional protests, legal protests, none of this would have happened. If they didn't have black shirt people with weapons, firing at people, firing at the police, firing at the military, none of the losses would have occurred.
How do you feel about the fact that this is looking like it's going to be the defining issue of how people remember your time in power?
Well, I don't think that's the case. I think that a lot of people know full well what happened during 2009, 2010. And the difference is this. As a government, we are the first. We've had a number of violent incidents in the past that allows the police, the Department of Special Investigations, the Attorney General, and the courts to work through this. And I will accept whatever verdict. Even if it's a death penalty, I will accept that. And I'm asking former Prime Minister and members of the current government that they should do the same, because they are always looking to pass a bill to grant themselves amnesty. That's not something that I've ever done. I'm willing to face the charges. I will fight to prove my innocence in the courts. And if the court, for whatever reason, passes a guilty verdict, I will accept it.